Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Good Mood Magic. I'm so excited to be here with you, and if you haven't already, do me a favor, and if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, throw me a like, and maybe share it with someone who you think would need this, because I've got some good information for you guys today. I want to talk about what everyone is obsessed with, meditation. And I know if you're like me or my fiance Nico, when you hear people doing things like all the time, constantly becoming obsessed with it, sometimes you're like, oh my God, like everyone needs to take a breather. I don't need to meditate. I'm fine. Like I'm just going to keep doing my thing. But I actually really want to make a case for meditation, and I want to talk to you guys today about what I think the real purpose of meditation is, so that it feels accessible, so that you understand why you're doing it, and you understand what you're not trying to do with meditation, because I think there's like a lot of confusion about it, and I think it becomes really intimidating to some people. Because if you are one of my anxious queens, if you are someone who deals with mood disorders, or you're just generally a bit more stressed than the average bear, meditation is going to be a really important practice for you to try to explore if you're open to it. So I want to talk to you about what I think the purpose of it's for. Actually, first I'm going to start with saying what I don't think the purpose of it's for. I think a lot of people perceive what meditation is, and they picture like a monk in a temple sitting there with absolutely no thoughts for hours on end, and they've mastered something that you probably feel like you never could. And their mind's totally quiet, and there's some peaceful music playing, and like it's just so easy for them to sit down there and drop into meditation and have this like transformational experience. And the truth of the matter is that's not what meditation is about at all. You can take meditation to great lengths if you want to, but for our intents and purposes, I want you to think about meditation as just a workout, a means of strengthening your ability to relax your muscles. So like you go to the gym to strengthen your ability to like build muscle and strength. You're building strength, but in a different way, strength in your ability to relax. So really important distinction there. I don't care if thoughts are coming into your mind, because guess what? They 100% are going to come into your mind. I don't even really want you to be thinking that there shouldn't be thoughts in your mind. When you become more experienced with meditation, sure, you'll have moments where you feel like where you'll feel like your mind is really calm and quiet. But no, your mind will always be thinking. The importance of meditation is to learn how to relax your mind in the face of these thoughts, and to create a bit of a mental distinction from you between you and your mind, if that makes sense. I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in thinking that we are our thoughts, we are our mind, but the truth is that you're not. And you know this for a fact, because if you hear thoughts going, you also feel like you're listening to those thoughts. So I don't want to get too existential for you guys, but if you are listening to something happen, you immediately know there's two beings or consciousnesses at play. So your thought is running, trying to protect you from mistakes, trying to foresee obstacles, trying to think through solutions, and you always hear, or trying to anticipate, so-and-so is saying X about me, or should I do Y, or evaluating everything in your life. And you're having all these thoughts that just run constantly. They just run constantly. But there's always someone listening deep within you, if you're really honest with yourself. And you know that because you're sometimes having an internal dialogue. So think of meditation as, again, trying to learn how to just relax in the presence of those thoughts, not so much to make those thoughts go away. And then number two, I want you to think about meditation as strengthening your ability to make the distinction between your mind and your thoughts and who you are, which is really the conscious present observer. And we'll get into more of that stuff later, but I just want you to understand and start to pay attention to, oh yeah, I am listening to some of these thoughts, and I can't always control these thoughts, well, because they're not really me. It's just my mind. And that's what the mind does. It's trying to protect you from harm, ultimately. It's a survival mechanism. So we want to strengthen our ability to be like, okay, I'm hearing these thoughts, but I know that that's not me. And so the more we can do that, the more the thoughts can come and go, and they have less power over us, and they're no longer able to send us into, a frantic state of being, or an anxious state. We might have anxious thoughts, stressful thoughts, worried thoughts, fear-based thoughts, but we can use meditation as a tool to say, okay, I'm hearing those, but I understand now that it's not me. It's not about shutting down the mind altogether. That is a very frustrating way to approach meditation because you're not going to be successful. The mind is always going to be running so long as you're alive. So relaxing the mind, creating a distinction between your mind and yourself. And then the third way I want you to think about meditation is, as you get a little more comfortable with it, is a means of raising your frequency or your vibration consciously, intentionally. Because believe it or not, you do have the ability to change your emotion at will. Now, you might not feel like you do yet. You might not feel like that's something that's possible for you, but I promise you that it is. And oftentimes we are so anxious and we are so used to, even on a biochemical level, each time we have an emotion, it also releases chemicals in our brain, in our body, and hormones. And so a lot of us are addicted to these cycles of these emotions within ourselves. It's what we feel like as normal. So yeah, there's a lot of important stuff that we need to do as a foundation for coping with anxiety, but I also want you guys to think outside of the box a little bit here and understand that on a certain level, you're maybe used to feeling stressed, used to feeling anxious. And maybe that's because you grew up in a really stressful, anxious environment. And so now you're used to feeling that way and you're wondering why I can't break free of it. Well, we know nutrition plays a big role, lifestyle factors plays a big role, but I think the third kind of wild card, if you will, is going to be your ability to consciously choose and tap into different frequencies, different emotions, and learn how to choose that, because there is a level of choice. Because I know, you know, or maybe it's you, or maybe it's someone you know, who's like doing all the things in their life. They're going to therapy, they're doing X, Y, and Z, they're eating healthy, but they're still anxious and stressed, and they haven't yet learned how to, okay, I'm doing all the things that are supporting my physical body, but I haven't learned how to change my mind. And it's a really big topic. I don't want you to get overwhelmed with it. I just want to say today that meditation can be used for that. So once you get comfortable with relaxing your mind and just like letting the thoughts be, but just relaxing your mind, which also kind of is the same thing as relaxing the muscles in your head and your brain and your neck. The more you relax those muscles, the more you'll feel relaxed in your mind. And every time you feel it tensing up and thinking more, relaxing back, and just practicing that practice of relaxing your mind. That's number one. And number two, like I said, creating that distinction, understanding that you're the listener. And then number three, once you get comfortable with that space, is starting to tap into different emotions at will. And that can be a big topic, but all you need to think about doing if you feel like you're in a space with meditation where you're able to do that is to think about a future scenario that is really ideal for you, even if it's a future of like the rest of your day, how you want your day to go, how you want to feel. So then you're thinking about what emotions are paired with this experience and how does that feel to me? And really place just how are you eating? How are you dressing? How are you walking? How does it feel to be in that future experience? And you'll start to realize that you're generating more positive emotions with your mind. And that is another muscle to be strengthened with meditation. So that is something that you can use when you feel a little more comfortable, or hell, just jump in, play around with it now. When you're meditating, all I want you to do is play some peaceful music. And if you're at step one, all I want you to do is just relaxing my mind and allowing the thoughts. Allow the thoughts, relax more. Oh, hear more thoughts, feel more tense. I'm going to consciously choose to relax more, relax more. And then the second one, we've talked about creating that distinction. And then number three, when you get comfortable, is you can create a vision for yourself, or think about a time when you did feel a certain way, a certain high emotion like joy, happiness, abundance, what have you. And really, how did you feel then? And what was the physical experience of that? And so as you work through those three kind of angles of thinking about meditation, I think you're going to look at it differently. It's not about just emptying, the trash, alt delete on your brain. It's about being comfortable with your brain as it is. One more thing that I want to add when you're thinking about meditation is to allow the thoughts. And as soon as you notice something, you can notice it and acknowledge it, and then return back to your intention, which is deeper relaxation, more distance and distinction, and then maybe visualizing. And the more you get comfortable with that routine, the more comfortable you're going to be, not just with meditation, but you're going to be more comfortable with your mind. And we all know that an anxious mind is a busy mind. And this is where meditation is going to really come into play. So how can you start meditating if you haven't already? Quiet space, try to make sure that you're not going to be uninterrupted, and find some music that sounds really peaceful for you. There are a lot of, meditation playlists on Spotify or on YouTube that you can try, or there's a lot of like Zen, spa music. I sometimes like to listen to frequency music, so 528 hertz. It's the frequency of joy. That might be a little bit much for you, but it's really calming, healing music, or even just something peaceful. Ideally, something with not a lot of words, because the words will kind of bring you back into thinking about that song, and we really want to take you out of your body. So some peaceful music like that. Use headphones. Feel free to make it a cozy environment. Light some candles, light some incense, use essential oils, what have you. Make sure you're comfortable. And I prefer meditating sitting upright, because I feel like when I lay down, sometimes I end up just falling asleep, and we don't really want to fall asleep. It might happen, but we don't want to fall asleep. We want to really be in a practice. So sitting up comfortably where you're supported will be perfect for this. All right, I hope that was helpful for you guys. Those are my 3 tips of how to think about meditation and what meditation is used for, and why I think that you should try it if you have an anxious mind. It's really going to help you out of your head into your body, which is what we want. We know how busy an anxious mind can be, a stressed mind can be. So meditation, everyone's doing it for a reason, I'll say this. So hopefully that was helpful and supportive and has made you feel encouraged to go out and give meditation a try. So if you haven't already, I want you guys to subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the bell button so you make sure not to miss any videos from me. And if you like this, throw me a like, girlfriend. I'd really appreciate it. And know that my #1 goal here is to help people improve their mood, because I really believe that everything is just so much easier with a good mood. In fact, nothing else matters when you have a good mood. So if you need help, if you need more help, if you have questions, please reach out to me via the link below. I'm here for you guys, and I'm so excited to see you next time on another episode of Good Mood Magic. See you then.